Hey, how's it going? It's your fellow guitar instructor, Miles, and today we're going to be going over a major and minor arpeggios guitar lesson. And I'm using my half-size classical guitar today, just for fun. And I'm also embracing this awesome Fred Kelly Bumblebee thumb pick, which is kind of like thumb pick with a built-in Jazz 3. So anyways, let's dive straight into the lesson. And let's talk about minor and major arpeggios and their differences and how easy they are to create. So we're going to start by learning single shape. And what we're going to learn is here at our third position, well, we're going to play a G using our middle finger on that low E string. Okay, now from there, you've probably played a power chord before. So we want to use our pinky to hit that fifth. So that gives us a root and a fifth. All right, so you're playing the third fret E and the fifth fret A. And now what you're going to do is you're going to use your first finger to play the second fret A. So you go middle finger on that third fret E, index finger on that second fret A, and pinky on that fifth fret of your A string. And so that's your whole G major arpeggio. And that's a root, a third, and a fifth. And so let's go over those intervals. A root is real easy to remember because it's your first note. So whatever note you start with, it's your bass note most of the time. And it's really it's the beginning of your scale. It's what defines your arpeggio. And then you have your fifth. And that's generally the other interval you'll learn. You start by learning a root, and then of course if you're playing rock guitar, you'll learn a fifth. And from there, you'll generally learn about thirds and minor thirds. And to find a third relative to your root note, on most strings you just go down a string and a half step towards the headstock. So in this case, third fret E to second fret A gives us your major third. And so that is how you play and construct a major arpeggio. Root, third, fifth, middle, index, pinky. Okay, now we're going to play a minor triad. And here's the thing. The only difference between a minor and major arpeggio is the third. So when you play a minor arpeggio, you flatten the third. Major is sharp, minor is flat. So you'd go from playing that second fret of the A string to playing the first fret of the A string. And that'll give you, instead of a G major arpeggio, you'll get a G minor arpeggio. All right, so that's basically how major and minor arpeggios are constructed. And now let's talk about why you'd want to learn them on a group of two strings. And that is because, well, you have 6 strings, right? And on all these strings, you can hop in octaves in sets of 2 if you start from the low E. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So if you play major arpeggio here at your third fret of your E, you can hop up an octave to the 5th fret D and use the same interval structure, the same fret hand fingerings to play the same arpeggio type. So we play 3, 2, 5 on E and A. Then using the same fingerings, you bring those fingers up to the 5th fret D, and you play 5th fret D, 4th fret G, and 7th fret G. And then you bring that up an octave to the 8th fret B. And you play 8th fret B, 7th fret high E, and 10th fret high E. And then you get this. Okay, now you can do the same thing for your minor arpeggio. So you take that major shape, and then you bring your third down a half step. And this is a lot easier to practice on your first 2 strings in A to start, and then your next 2 strings, D and G. And then the octave difference right there is down 2 strings up 3 frets rather than down 2 strings up 2 frets. And so that little octave hop can be a little more complex technically, but you'll get used to it the more you practice. So that's major and minor arpeggios if you're viewing them across, well, in pairs of two strings. And so you want to remember where the root is, and the fifth, and the third, and then the root, fifth, and the flattened third, or the minor third, and that'll give you a minor arpeggio. Minor third, minor arpeggio. Major third, major arpeggio. Pretty simple, right? Now, here's what's really cool, is now that you know that this is a root and a third and a fifth, well, you could also visualize it like this. Instead of playing your third at the second fret A, you play it at the seventh fret E. So you play 3, 7, 5 of A. Then you move that up an octave, which will give you 5, 10, 7, 7 of G. And then 10, 12, 10, 10 of high E. And all you're doing there is you're moving your third from that second fret A to the seventh fret E. You're taking your third wherever it is and moving it to the string above. And then you can do the same thing with a minor arpeggio. In the case of the low E, we'd go 3 to 6, index, pinky, ring. So that'd be 3, 6, E, and then 5th fret of the A string. If you think about it, if you've ever played the minor pentatonic scale, well, you've got your first and second notes of the minor pentatonic, which is a root and a flat third. Then your third note in the minor pentatonic scale is a fourth interval. Then your fourth note is a fifth interval. So you have a root, a flat third, and a fifth. Root, flat third, fifth. Root, flat third, fifth. And that's how you get your minor arpeggio. And then from there, you can take your fifth, we'll go back to a major arpeggio, and you can move it from the A string to the E. And that'll give you G, B, D. And how could you play this on a single string? Well, there are a few ways. I mean, you could divide it. You know, you could play 3, 7, 3, 7, 10, 7. Or you could tap it, you know. That's what Eddie Van Halen did, right? Okay, and then you could bring that up an octave. All right, and so that's how you play it on a single string. And then from there we have your open chords, and we can create your major and minor arpeggios from your open chords. And so, in particular, you'll look at A minor, D minor, and E minor. And then you look at their major friends, right? So you have E major and D major and A major. And the way that these work are, well, you can move these around to different caged positions, which is a whole other lesson by itself. But basically, you take all the open strings and all the strings you're already playing, and you can move them all up a whole step. Or, sorry, one half step at a time, one whole step at a time. Either way, you move the shapes around. And all you have to do is play the notes of those chords one string at a time, and you'll have an arpeggio. Because an arpeggio is just a broken down chord, right? And so you can take your major shape or your minor shape and just play it one string at a time. And then, you know, your E major chord, turn it into like a G major bar, and you'll have an arpeggio. Or you could turn it into a G minor bar, go from E minor to a G minor, and play that one note at a time. course, you see right there, I've got the shape. I can also play my third here at that 6th fret low E. So that covers your E major shape, E minor, and then of course A minor shape and A major. And then you can do the same thing with your D minor and D major shapes. And you don't even have to incorporate the D string. All you have to do is move around your D major and D minor shapes. For example, you could play an E minor arpeggio right here, because our root note is here on that B string. I could also play it as a major arpeggio. You could also do it with your just plain open D, and open D minor shapes. All right, but anyways, I should tell you that I have a whole other lesson on that called Sweep Picking Arpeggios, the 5 cage shapes that you need, and that dives a lot deeper into those particular shapes. But anyways, the main difference overall between major and minor arpeggios is the third. So if you can master the root and the 5th, that's the easy part. Then you just have to find a third relative to your root, and then you have to flatten that third to make it minor. So that'll give you major and minor. And then you just have to learn where those intervals are on the fretboard. And you can play major and minor arpeggios everywhere. So that's it. Thanks for watching. If you like this content, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and let me know what you want to see in the next video. Anyways, thanks again, and have a good day.